We've all heard the old saying about oceanfront real estate. They aren't making it anymore. True enough, but they do seem to be making it more expensive. Well, there's one place left in North America that seems to have a lot of it, ocean frontage that is, and Nova Scotia shore property is still extremely good value for anyone who, in these uncertain times, wants to invest in tangible assets with these unique liquidity virtues. From long sand beaches to deep water anchorages to bold ledge frontage with crashing surf, there's Nova Scotia's shoreline for every taste and utility. Let's look at 7 exciting oceanfront offerings in Shelburne County on Nova Scotia's South Shore. We're starting in Round Bay, just south of the historic town of Shelburne. Our first offering is adjacent to the sand beach at Round Bay, where you can walk for miles in virtual solitude any time of the year. This property is protected by a 900-foot-long seawall constructed with granite boulders. Most of the 13 acres have been cleared to build. The lay of the land here is gentle, almost pastoral, with a sweeping view across an endless plain of blue sea meeting blue sky. A stand of white birch trees has been preserved across the back of the property. There's also a small granite-lined pond, the first increment in what could be a landscape architect's dream plan. Privacy is also enhanced by the driveway that weaves in through the boulders and the trees to a spectacular entrance on the shore. The second Round Bay offering is smaller and further along the rugged shoulder of the bay, with long views across to the far end of Round Bay's sandy expanse. The shoreline here is boulder-strewn with pockets of gravel and sand, ever shifting with the tide and the temperament of the sea. After storms, the shore here becomes the repository of heaps of kelp, perhaps the most valuable resource the sea had to offer the early settlers who were obliged to farm this hardscrabble land. All across the old farmstead one finds rock walls and foundations, touching evidence of the resourcefulness of earlier trustees of this property. A half hour or so north of Shelburne town, we come to the community of West Green Harbor. This property is another old farmstead, now reclaimed by thickets of beautifully scented wild roses and vast webs of beach peas. From the white expanse of the cobblestone beach, we take in views of Blue Island, where it is reckoned that Blackbeard lolled about between pirating jobs. The panoramic vista continues on across the crystal waters of Jordan Bay. From a building perspective, this land is nicely elevated with a southwest exposure, but the beach is accessible at every point along the nearly 800 feet of shoreline. We're now going a bit further up county, just east of the old fishing town of Lockport. Look closely at this extraordinary topography. Black Point Beach is one of the province's most surf-pounded shorelines, but behind this massive seawall of roller stones is a huge white sandy estuary. Welcome to the motherlode for clam digging. If there are children or grandchildren in your vision of life on the Nova Scotia shore, then it doesn't get any better than this. This is a swimming, kayaking and laser sailing safe zone for children. Just let them go and let Mother Nature take charge of their education and character building. Meanwhile, to the nature-exploring adult, this estuary is rich in flora and fauna, and it's a birdwatcher's paradise. Oh yes, did I mention that the list price for this property is pure charity? Can you imagine 30 acres and over 800 feet of shoreline for a mere $129,000? Our next stop is Jones Harbor, situated at the mouth of the Sable River. A new private road takes us through this 30-acre forested parcel to the crystal clear waters looking across the bay at Lewis Head Beach. We're here on a calm day, but the long roller stone beach tells a story of bold surf pushing up a stone seawall more indestructible than anything man could possibly construct. The final two properties on today's tour around Shelburne County are located at Sandy Point on the eastern passage into Shelburne Harbor. We're less than 10 minutes from town here. The west-facing cobblestone shore here is easily accessed for walking or launching and mooring a boat. Both sites offer good elevations for building, with broad perspectives across to historic McNutt's Island, guarding the entrance to Shelburne Harbor. These two properties are front row seats for reviewing all the marine traffic entering and leaving Shelburne. Let's follow this leisure buccaneer on into town. Shelburne has a proud history dating to its founding in 1783 as an Empire Loyalist refuge. These days, Old Shelburne would be your market town if you resided on any of the properties that we've toured. Architecturally, the harbor front and much of the small town that lay up these quiet laneways is stunningly beautiful in a tranquil sort of way. For seafarers and landlubbers alike, this is a snug harbor. There's a laid-back yacht club with a welcoming bar, a couple of heritage museums, live theater, and some notable eateries. Of course, things liven up here a bit when the movie makers are in town, but for the most part, the pace of life here is just about as you're seeing it on this brief clip. If your metabolism requires stress, Shelburne is probably not for you.